This past weekend, I was finally able to play catch-up on Superman and Lois Season 2, so let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your thoughts on Season 2 of Superman and Lois. As this is a spoiler review, feel free to spoil away down below in the comment section. No need for a spoiler warning, and let's get started. And I'll just cut right to the chase on this one. While I still enjoyed the show, I felt like this was a pretty significant decrease in quality from the first season. And at the root of almost all my issues with Season 2, as I just felt like they kind of went off in the wrong directions. Like, I didn't dislike it. I finished it, and at no point in time did I consider not finishing it. But just kind of the plot lines that they picked to go in, they just weren't as compelling or interesting to me. They seemed like they were stretching things a little bit too much and didn't tie together on a logical level quite as well. So at the very beginning of the season, I was actually a little bit optimistic about where they were going, because when the Bizarro Superman first arrives and when you first see him in the suit, it's looks like the Doomsday suit from the classic Death of Superman run, when Doomsday breaks out of the ground. He's wearing this very specific looking suit. That's the suit that Bizarro is wearing when he arrives. And so then when Superman punches through the mask and you realize that it's Bizarro underneath, I was like, okay, that's kind of fun, but I would rather we just went with Doomsday. We're going to do this. We're going to go for it. Let's just go for it. I'm just not as interested in Bizarro as I am in doing Doomsday. And then when they started doing all this stuff with Lois's sister, this cult, I was like, all right, we're spending a lot of time on this. Where does this, is this really what the season's about? Answer is yes. And it tied into the Bizarro. It's made a little bit more sense. Played a little bit better for me once you kind of understood how it played in. But there's just a lot about her sister being the worst, but constantly claiming to be a victim of her sister. And then when they started hopping universes, because Arrowverse has already kind of done multiverse, doing Bizarro stuff, I don't think it hits quite the same. Plays a little bit different. So it wasn't the direction I would have gone. I think in doing Bizarro, but doing like a serious take on Bizarro, I don't know that entirely worked. And then they did some stuff where, like, you know, Jonathan from the other world is evil, and so they just like put guy liner on him and give him a leather jacket, stuff like that. It just, when you do stuff like that, it feels like you're trying to force an actor into an energy and a vibe that you didn't cast them for. When you take someone that you cast him because he looks like he could be the quarterback for the football team, and then you're like, let's put guy liner on him and give him a jacket and skin-tight jeans, skinny jeans. It feels like he's playing dress-up rather than organic energy for that person to kind of naturally give off. So it's just a lot of it didn't quite play entirely right for me. And then along those same lines, I'll probably always be a little bit less excited about some of the high school drama stuff. And I think this one started to really highlight it in the final few episodes, where literally an evil Jonathan comes through a portal to kill Jonathan for the purpose of uniting worlds and causing this Armageddon. And in the middle of this episode, where that evil Jonathan is kidnapping Lana, you have Jordan and Jonathan both whining about their high school crap. Your doppelganger just showed up to kidnap, to try and kill you, and your brother's girlfriend's mom just got kidnapped, and you're whining to your dad about trust issues? What are we doing right now? And then likewise, in the middle of all this stuff, Jordan's like, did you talk to my girlfriend about me? Really? Did you need to do that? Wait a minute. This stuff really doesn't matter when the world's about to end. What are we doing? And I think some of that's the problem with, I think they would do themselves well to, instead of having one arc that runs throughout the season, so Bizarro has to run for 16 episodes or whatever, do like 3 arcs that are like 5 episodes, or 2 8-episode arcs, or maybe 2 6-episode arcs and a couple of standalone episodes in there. And just have an episode where there's a catastrophe and Superman just needs to be a hero to save the day. not everything needs to be constantly about world building to the world-ending catastrophe. And when you do that, you create these scenarios where, well, we're always trying to have the family drama combined with this other stuff, and it gets really stupid when the world's about to end for 4 episodes, and we're still pausing to talk about your high school girlfriend. And this season, I felt did that, like, I obviously whined about some of this, Jordan and things like that in the first season, because I felt like he was just written a bit without enough redeeming qualities for the first half of the season. He was just whining about his awful dad, who happens to be an awesome guy. Whereas here, they had reasonable things for Jordan to be whining about and issues that Jonathan's working through that made sense, but they're having the conversation at a time where it makes absolutely no sense. Like, yeah, you have your first broken heart. You want to talk to your parents about it. You want to figure out how to make up with your girlfriend. You're not thinking about that when the world's ending. Jonathan's working through this whole thing about lying to his parents about the girlfriend, what should he have done, and these kryptonite drugs, and he's trying to figure out, my dad has powers, my brother has powers, I don't have powers, but I want to stand. Okay, gotcha. I understand why has all, like, Dad, you lied to me for years, but now you don't want me to, you understand why I'm lying? Gotcha. That makes a little bit of sense. There's an interesting discussion there. But no, when the world is ending, that's what I kind of felt like watching through it. I'm still having fun as some light entertainment to kind of put on. I still like the cast, the general dynamics of it, the general idea of it that I like. I think they just went down the wrong path that lent it to, I just wasn't really interested, like the main villain of this lady that's trying to merge worlds, she's just not nearly as interesting as Kal-El's half-brother that's a Kryptonian that wants to recruit his brother to redo this whole Krypton deal. She's not nearly as interesting. And then by the time she gains her powers, she's just a force of nature. She's not really even a character anymore. She's just like so all-powerful that she just couldn't be all that interesting because of all of that. And that's what I think they hurt themselves. And then it felt drawn out that we're like still lingering on this character that's not very interesting. And once again, her sister doesn't Lois's sister doesn't believe either one of them. It just, we already did this. We already had this conversation, and we're doing it again. So, it didn't in any way diminish my interest in the next season. I just hope they rework things a little bit better and pick a better direction, pick a better plot. And I think, I said this years ago about Flash. It was one of the same issues I had with Flash, where they just, I think it was Savitar season 4, which just felt like it was going on forever. Maybe Savitar season 3, whatever that one was. Just felt like they were stretching this one thing out too long. It was too much. And I felt that here too. Even with the shorter season, I felt it too much. I think come up with 2 big plot lines and a few standalone stories. And I think you just don't feel like you have to do one for the whole season. I think that would make such a big difference. Rework it, like in that way, where you do smaller stories. Justice League, the animated show, not as much when it went into Unlimited, but when it's Justice League, they did these runs where some of them, they do standalone episodes, and they do 3-episode runs, they do 2-episode runs, and they didn't have one set formula. They did multiple ones depending on what the story worked for it. Do that for this show. And especially now we're 2 seasons in, it doesn't feel like we get enough Superman, the traditional hero, because they're trying to do these big gigantic arcs, so there's not a way to squeeze in him just being the hero. Like they'll do like a scene of him saving people in China or something like that, or a bridge clapping, but it's a scene. They don't do episodes that's about some sort of local thing that he's trying to resolve or something in Metropolis. And I feel there's a lot more to do with this version of Superman, of just letting him be not just epic guy, but the smaller stuff too. And anyway, so I don't know. It's tough to describe it, because it was like, oh man, I'm kind of pretty disappointed where they took this whole season, but not in a way that I wasn't mad at the show or anything like that. It wasn't like, so I'm only being negative. I can't say specific things that I really enjoyed, because it's just generically I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the cast, the vibe that they're going for. But it's the vibe they're going for, the idea of it, the cast, the specific plot lines, I just was frustrated by. So I haven't really been following the chatter. I don't know what anyone else has been saying about this season up to this point in time. So that's where I'm at on it. Let me know what you thought down below in the comment section. Did you think this was an improvement, decrease? Do you agree with me that maybe let's work on doing 2-3 smaller plot lines rather than one 16-episode plot line. Love to hear your thoughts on all of that. Keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.